Welcome back to Toyota Sports Talk, joined now by Jake Russell, the Washington Post. Jake, as always, good to see you. How are things, my friend?
Things are going great. Thanks for having me.
Good. Always great to have you on the program. And the Washington Nationals not off to an ideal start to the 2021 season, but Nats fans are getting used to these slow starts. Any reason to panic yet?
Not yet. They're only 6 games into a 162 game season. Although Davey Martinez did emphasize in spring training he wants to get out to a strong start, and this is this is the opposite of what he had in his plans. Being hampered with all the COVID delays and having a bunch of players put on the injured list because of that, and then having the season delayed by several days, by almost a week, and then the first opponents they face right out of the gate are the division rivals who've won, I believe, the last 3 National League East pennants, and then they face the World Series champion Dodgers, and now they're going to taking their show to St. Louis now to face a tough Cardinals team who just added Nolan Arenado this offseason. So there's not really any easy path for them at the moment. I think right now, they're going to be very excited to welcome back the likes of Josh Bell and Kyle Schwarber, because they really need that help.
Yeah, the starting pitching was, for the most part, pretty good in LA. Joe Ross was fantastic. I love seeing that. Scherzer was great yesterday, but they were shut out twice. What's going on with the guys at the plate? Are they pressing a little too much?
Maybe the inexperience with the rest of the lineup. It's kind of hard to rely just primarily on Trey Turner and Juan Soto, although Zimmerman has been helping out quite a bit at the plate. You need more than just a couple guys to rely on throughout the season. I think they also banked on going into this year having help before and after Soto. And I think once everyone gets off the injured list and puts back on the active roster, they're going to have a better feel for what they expect the team to be.
Juan Soto, he's off to a pretty good start. Had the walk-off in opening day, then 2 home runs against the Dodgers. But ideally, he's going to need that protection throughout the season in that lineup for him to be ultimately very effective.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why they got in, they brought in, the Kyle Schwarbers and Josh Bells of the world, because they're hoping that they're going to revert back to their 2019 form where they were super productive, had big power numbers. Last year didn't work out too well for those guys, but I think this year they're with a full season and a full spring training under their belts. I think they expect them to match what they put out in 2019.
We haven't had a really kind of true feel of what this team is capable of yet, because all these guys have been out. What's your reason for optimism? Because, they're 1-5 and, some Nats fans are like, here we go again, another 19-31 around the corner. But what gives you optimism that once everybody's in place, this team's going to do some damage?
For me, I think it's the fact that right now they're, in a way, working with a skeleton crew. They're not working with everybody they brought in the offseason. They're still missing John Lester. They're missing, Josh Bell and Kyle Schwarber. Those are key pieces that they brought in the offseason to help out this roster, and they haven't played, a single game for them yet. I think that's a reason for optimism, especially when you saw how well Josh Bell was hitting during spring training. Him and Zimmerman were on fire all spring. So that gives people a lot of reason for optimism. And then John Lester brings a lot of experience and, is a solid rotation piece at the number 4 spot. Once he gets back off the injured list, I think they have a lot to look forward to. There's a lot of veteran experience coming in that they can steady the ship, I think, and get things going in the right direction for them.
You brought up a good point of Alex Avila. I mean, Lucroy's done pretty well. You have Yan Gomes. Do you think the Nationals dare keep 3 catchers, or they're going to have a decision to make?
I read that, Rizzo and Martinez, I believe, had a discussion about, what to do with Lucroy on the roster because he had been playing so well to that point. I personally think it would be a mistake to, get rid of him at this point. I think a 3-catcher rotation with the way he's been playing is a solid way to go until proven otherwise, until Lucroy, starts to show a little bit of a downturn in his play. I think until they finally get to see what Avila brings to the plate this year, I think it would be smart to keep Lucroy.
Brad Hand, he got his first appearance on Sunday. There's a lot of excitement surrounding him. Probably not what he envisioned of his debut with the Nationals coming on. I think it was in the 8th inning yesterday, but a 1-2-3 inning for Brad Hand. What's that bullpen looking like? Obviously with Will Harris on the shelf right now, don't know when he will return. Overall bullpen, are you pretty comfortable with the pieces in place there?
As a whole, not necessarily, not from what I've seen early on. From what I've seen, they've been beaten up pretty good, but I think there's a lot of hope for a lot of optimism in terms of what they've gotten out of Sam Clay so far. He's been very impressive. You hear Bob Carpenter and FP bringing up, slinging Sam Clay, thinking, harkening back to the good old days of slinging Sammy Ball back in the 30s and 40s here in DC. There's some optimism with them. And also, when you get a chance to see Will Harris come back, I think fans are very anxious to see what he can provide, because he's been injured pretty much, I believe, most of the time he's been here. But right now, it's tough for them to maintain, solid starts from their top of the rotation starting pitchers. Right now, it's one of the bigger weaknesses on the team, I think, with the batting order. Once the guys get off the injured list and get back into the swing of things, then the Nats can kind of hope for a sense of normalcy, a sense of what they expected.
All right. He is Jake Russell, the Washington Post. As always, appreciate your Nats perspective. And you actually have a book, right? Let's plug your book real quickly, because you got a book for a lot of Nats fans that who might like to read it.
That's correct. Thanks for plugging this for me. It's 100 Things Nationals Fans Should Know and Do Before They Die. Fans can order autographed copies at jakerussellsports.com. Click on the Nationals book tab, and I'll ship the book within 24 hours. The new updated World Series version came out last spring. So if anybody like a copy of that, please go to jakerussellsports.com and click on the Nationals book tab. And like I said, I'll send it out in 24 hours with an autograph. So it's not that I'm biased or anything, but I think it's fantastic baseball reading to start the season.
All right. He is Jake Russell. As always, appreciate your time, my friend.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Much more to come right here on Toyota Sports Talk. Stay with us.